Now, here's a story you don't often see in Vancouver these days. A beloved bike store reopens after former employees bring it back. Erich Jurgens is now the new owner of the Bike Doctor. Erich, hi, welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Give me a little bit of a history of this place. When did this all start?
The Bike Doctor's been in that location on West Broadway for decades, a long time. I know originally when it had opened, the owner and the, I guess, founder of the Bike Doctor, Paul Bogart, he had moved around until he kind of settled on that spot on West Broadway. And then like a year and a half ago, it closed. And long story short, we've been working behind the scenes to try and bring it back ever since, and we just brought that to fruition last week.
Okay, well, how do you do that?
I guess what happened first when Paul announced that he was closing the store, everyone, not just the staff, but the community very much let it be known that they were upset. Yeah, exactly. No, it was the number one thing we heard is like, oh, I'm so sad you guys are closing. Everyone assumed that it was a financial thing, like, the store hit a point where it's not fiscally viable and all that. Even before the kind of closing out blowout sale, the 2018 was the best year on Bike Doctor history. It had a very steady climb. It had been doing well. The owner had just decided it's time to retire.
Right.
And I actually had made a pitch while it was closing to see if I could buy it, but I don't have quite as much money as some other people that were interested in the space. When the store did close, almost immediately, I started scheming with some of my former colleagues, like, hey, we need to open our own store because there's this big gap being left by the Bike Doctor. We love the store. The community loved the store. We don't think that there's anything that quite fills that niche. So let's set up our own store. And we were in the process of doing that when the store that had taken over the location on 137 West Broadway closed in September. And as soon as that had happened, I went to them and I said, what are you guys doing with the lease? We would love to have this space. And as it happens, they were eager to get rid of it. So we acquired the Bike Doctor name, all the business assets, all the accounts, the domain. We have the exact same email, exact same phone number, as much continuity as we could. Same location, and then from December on, we've been setting up and getting ready to reopen.
Awesome, meant to be. It
Yes.
was meant to be, and I think this is a biking city. We need cycle shops like this as well, and repair shops. So let's talk about that. You bought in a beautiful bicycle today. I love this color, first of all, and this is your official color for the Bike Doctor.
This is Bike Doctor Orange.
Yes, Bike Doctor. So people now just, I know a lot of people have been riding right through the year, but for people who are just dusting off their bikes for a new season, what kind of things sort of top of the list of things to think about?
I think the number one thing is make sure you have a bottle cage. It's kind of obscured by the lock here, but you want to have water with you, even if you're just commuting to work, even if it's just a 20-minute ride.
That's hilarious. Water's the first thing, everybody. There you go.
Water is the first thing. Make sure you stay hydrated. I think it's probably that people don't drink enough water even before they start biking.
That's assuming the bike is running smoothly, but to help keep the bike running smoothly, what kind of things do you rely on?
So the number one thing, let's see if I can fish it out here. You can have a little saddlebag like this to keep things that you might need access to infrequently, but not enough that you would need it, say, in a bag like this where you'd want to grab it quickly.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, for something like that, if you want to have your phone here, maybe if you don't have a mount like this, or a granola bar or something like that.
Or a little flask of water.
Or a little flask of water if you're like, I didn't get my bottle cage installed. Yeah. But for things that you access less frequently, you have a little saddlebag like this. And the number one thing that I would recommend is a multi-tool like this. I personally, this is actually the multi-tool I was given when I started at the Bike Doctor originally.
That's wonderful.
So that's
You're a
nice.
Sentimental guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Or it's just extra useful.
Both. So with this, if you look at most of the bolts on the bike, like here, maybe don't mess with this one as much. Here, your saddle, everything that's kind of bolted on, this will tighten most of that. And when you go into a store and they do a safety check, that's 80% of what they're doing is making sure that everything that's supposed to be tight is tight.
Okay.
And if you're on the road, if you're riding and something's feeling loose, this will almost certainly help with that.
Okay.
And then, if you have a longer ride and things go poorly and you end up getting a flat, you want a tire lever, and I strongly recommend carrying a full spare tube.
Oh, I see. It all fits in there. Well,
yeah, that's really useful.
I like
really useful.
I like that.
Now, there are kind of two options when you get a flat. You can use a patch kit like this. Obviously, this one's fully packaged. You just have the little box in your bag there. But I personally recommend, if you can fit it, just have a full-on spare tube. The reason being is that It is a lot more quick to change out a full tube than hunting down the leak and patching it. It's also a longer-term solution. A patch is a temporary fix, an effective one, but it is temporary. If you're on your way to work, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to worry about the leak or the puncture or whatever happening again. So you just grab one of these, and then you have these, and this is all you need, as well as a pump, to get your tire back up and rolling and get yourself to work.
I see. Okay. Okay. Does everybody who has a bicycle need a tune-up every year?
It depends how. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say yes. It depends how you ride, because it could be more than every year. It also depends on the types of riding you're doing. Some riding is rougher on a bike than others. Yeah. One thing that's important to keep track of is making sure that your chain is consistently lubed, making sure that your tires are being inflated regularly. I definitely think that, yeah, at least once a year you should be getting a tune-up. But every time something feels off, you should take it into whatever local bike shop you trust and have them take a look at it.
So you're reworking the whole store. You've got same name, same email, all of that. But are there some differences?
There are actually quite a few differences. It was, I would say, a fun challenge, keeping as much of what made the Bike Doctor good in this reopen while adjusting and improving anything that we could. So there's two main improvements we made. The first one is that we've changed the whole layout of the store almost entirely. We've done this with spatial awareness in mind. We want things to be a little bit more condensed, a little bit easier for people to find. The old Bike Doctor was a lot of fun. We had a lot of stuff, but there was also a lot of clutter, and we tried our best to clean it up. One of the things that I'm a big fan of, it's kind of my baby project, is the tires are now customer accessible. Originally with the Bike Doctor, we had the tires hanging up off the ceiling, and you had to get a staff member to come pull one down for you. Now you can walk into the store, if you know what size you're looking for, there's a hook, nice labeled, you can just grab the one you want, go to the till, ring it up. The other big thing, and I have to give many, many thanks to our service manager, Tony Burke, for helping make this a reality, is we've also redesigned the shop, and I'm really proud of what we've come up with. Our service section is made from the ground up to be as helpful to the mechanics as possible. We wanted to, from the beginning, eliminate any little annoyances, any little thing where a mechanic that's working on a bike, maybe they need to hunt down for a tool, maybe they don't have quite enough space, maybe they don't have access to their own hose. Things that kind of add up over time when they're doing a repair, we wanted to eliminate all of that, and we wanted it to look nice as well, and I think we nailed both of those things.
Well, congratulations to the rebirth of the Bike Doctor on West Broadway. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.